Essay number 9, 20 signs you're doing better than you think you are. You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at 2 a.m., scrolling through everyone else's highlight reels, wondering where you went wrong? When you're mentally cataloging all the ways you're behind, all the things you haven't achieved, all the ways you're failing at this whole adult thing? Yeah, we need to talk about that, because I'm willing to bet you're doing significantly better than you think you are. And I can prove it. Let's start with something basic. You paid your bills this month. I know. Maybe you stressed about it. Maybe you had to juggle some things around. Maybe you complained the entire time you were writing those checks or clicking those payment buttons. But here's the thing. They got paid. You figured it out. You handled it. That's not nothing. And maybe, just maybe, you even had a little left over. $20 for takeout. 15 for that streaming service, 50 for something completely unnecessary that made you happy. The amount doesn't matter. What matters is you're not just surviving, you're living, even if just a little. Here's something that might surprise you. The fact that you question yourself, that you doubt your life, that some days you feel absolutely miserable, that's actually a good sign. It means you're still open to growth. It means you haven't given up. It means you can be objective about your life and self-aware enough to want something better. The people who never question themselves aren't enlightened. They're stagnant. The best people go home at the end of the day and think, maybe there's another way to do this. You have a job. Now wait. Before you tell me how much you hate it, how it's not what you planned, how it's beneath your education or your potential, stop. You're earning money. You're taking responsibility for yourself. You're choosing independence over dependence. It doesn't matter if it's not your dream job or if it's not what you told your high school guidance counselor you'd be doing. You're supporting yourself. And that's not failure. That's adulting at its most fundamental level. And after that job you hate, you have time to do something you enjoy. Even if that something is absolutely nothing. Even if it's sitting on your couch, ordering too much Thai food and watching the same show you've seen 3 times already. The fact that you have leisure time at all puts you ahead of most humans who have ever lived. Let's talk about your fridge for a second. There's food in there, right? Not just food, choices. You can stand there with the door open, cold air rushing out, debating between leftover pizza or making a sandwich. You're not worried about where your next meal is coming from. You eat because you enjoy it, not just for pure survival. Do you understand how extraordinary that is in the scope of human history? You have 1 or 2 truly close friends. I know Instagram makes you think everyone else has a squad of 30 besties, but that's not how human connection works. At the end of the day, all we really need are a few people who know us, really know us, and love us anyway. The people you can text at 2 a.m., the ones who know your coffee order and your childhood trauma. Quality over quantity, every single time. This morning, you could afford your commute, whether it was gas in your car, a subway token, or even just a cup of coffee to make the morning bearable. These tiny conveniences that you don't even think about, they're not guaranteed, they're not given, they're achievements. You're not the same person you were a year ago. Think about that. You've learned things, you've evolved, you've changed. Maybe some of those changes feel like steps backward, but even recognizing that is growth. You can identify the ways you're different, for better or worse. You're not static, you're not stuck, even when it feels like you are. You have the time and means to do things beyond bare survival. Maybe you went to a concert last year. Maybe you bought a book just because it looked interesting. Maybe you could take a spontaneous day trip if you wanted to. You don't have to work every waking hour just to eat. You have margin in your life for joy. Open your closet. You have options in there. Not just clothes, appropriate clothes. Something for winter, something for summer, something nice for when you need to look presentable. You can shield your body from the elements and decorate it according to your mood, the occasion, or just because you feel like it. Here's a big one. You can sense what isn't right in your life. You might not know how to fix it yet. You might not even be able to articulate exactly what's wrong, but you know something needs to change. That awareness, That's the first step to everything. Most people sleepwalk through their entire lives. You're awake. If you could talk to your younger self, that scared kid who thought they'd never make it through whatever trauma or challenge they were facing, you could tell them, "We made it. We survived. We're okay." Think about what that would mean to them. Think about what it means that you're the living proof that they were stronger than they knew. You have a space that's yours. Maybe it's an apartment, maybe it's just a room, maybe it's just a desk in a corner. But somewhere in this world, there's a space where you get to decide what happens, where you control who enters and who doesn't, where you can close the door and the world has to wait outside. That's power. That's freedom. You've lost relationships. This might sound like a negative, but it's not. It means you or they chose not to settle. It means you valued yourself enough to know when something wasn't working. It means you opened yourself to the possibility of something better. Every ended relationship is proof that you won't accept less than you deserve. You're interested in something. Anything. Maybe it's how to be happier. Maybe it's true crime podcasts. Maybe it's that weird YouTube channel about restoring old tools. Doesn't matter. You have curiosity. You have things that light up your brain. You're not just existing. You're engaging with the world. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how many hours of sleep you need, what to eat when your stomach hurts, who to call when you're falling apart, what shows to watch when you need comfort. You've learned your own operating manual. That's not instinct. That's years of paying attention to yourself. You're working toward something. Even if it feels impossibly far away, even if you're exhausted, even if you're not sure you'll ever get there, you have a direction, a hope, a dream, however vague. You haven't given up on the possibility of something more. But, and this is crucial, you're not so rigid about that future that you can't adapt. You can find good in plan B, C, or even plan Z. You're learning that happiness isn't about getting exactly what you planned, but about making the best of what actually happens. That's not settling, that's wisdom. And perhaps most importantly, you've been through some shit. Real, difficult, life-altering shit. And you're still here. You can look at your current problems and compare them to things you've survived that once felt impossible. You thought you'd never get over that breakup, but you did. You thought you'd never survive that loss, but you did. You thought that failure would end you, but it didn't. Life didn't get easier. You got stronger, you got smarter. You developed skills you didn't know you were capable of. You became someone who could handle things that would have destroyed the person you used to be. So the next time you're lying there at 2 a.m., cataloging all the ways you're failing, I want you to remember this. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not broken. You're a human being doing the impossible work of existing in a complicated world, and you're doing it better than you think. The very fact that you're watching this, that you're looking for signs you're doing okay, that you care enough to worry about whether you're doing life right, that's sign number 21. You give a damn. And people who give a damn are the ones who end up making it. You're doing better than you think you are. I promise. Even if it doesn't feel like it. Especially if it doesn't feel like it. Because the people who are really failing, they don't even ask the question.